response will be to want to give ourselves to that. We will want to serve that. So, iti matva bhajante mam. Those personal Buddha, with those persons who have, those persons who have some intelligence, they realize that I am all in all, that I am the source of everything. What will their natural response be? It will be to want to serve me. It will be to approach me in some relationship of love and service. So this is and why is this a hidden treasure? Welcome. So why is this a hidden treasure? Because most persons, they're not ready for this truth, right? I feel like I should move over. Okay. Well, there's lots of space. Because what is the nature of this world? This world is for persons who want to have some separate existence, who want to have some independent existence. Because we can't conceive we cannot conceive of real satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment, outside of that. To us, being independent, this is like this is something that's integral to happiness. This is how we think in this world. To the extent that there are so many persons in so many groups, their conception, their aspiration is to be God. We were discussing that this morning with some of our guests. There have been so many persons throughout history who have made that claim, that I am God. And they were telling, not in India, so many persons, they make that claim, I'm an avatar, I'm one of the avatars. And this morning our guests were telling me, I think it was recently, it was a priest in Russia who he was leading a church, and he was a good speaker, he became very popular. And then one day in his congregation he announced, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to reveal the secret to you. I'm actually God. No, he was serious. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he actually believed it or if it was just to. I mean, people gave him money and influence and all kinds of things, and he was arrested eventually. But there have been so many persons like that. There was one case in Australia. One man, Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada gave some talk, and then at the end of the talk, he was a professor at a local university. This man, he announced, I have something to tell all of you, that I'm actually God, and very soon I'm going to be able to prove it, and the whole world is going to know about it. And Srila Swami Maharaj, he responded very nicely. He said, yes, you think that, and everyone else also thinks that about themselves. Everybody thinks that. Everyone thinks that they're God. So this is the world for people who want to be God, actually. Whether we're thinking that in like a very concrete, gross way, or we think that in some subtle way. We all think that to some extent or another. We want to be at the center. Like, what is Facebook about? Like, all of these things. It's about like, I'm here, hello. Or like you hear little kids like Subhadra, look at me, like look at me, everybody look at me. So this is a world for people like that. We want to have some central position. We want to have some godlike position. So that's why the Vedas, the Vedic instruction, it's not coming in a direct way. It's not coming. It's like to say, you're a servant. Like, you're not a master. You're a servant. That's like a slap in the face. for persons like us. We want to be masters. Master card. Master the possible. It's like all about like having things under control. Like we can think that we're successful if we have things under control. It's really sad, actually. Our understanding of what is success, our comprehension of success is like, it's so limited. Our idea of success is so limited. Like, that's your idea of success, that whatever is like within your tiny little range of understanding, of comprehension, that you'll be able to like control and manipulate things. You'll be able to even to understand things. And this is related to the topic that we had for today. Our range of perception is so limited. It is like so small. Actually, modern science is helping us to realize how little we know. They say that with our human faculties, we're able to perceive less than 1% of 1% of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. That's including like light, different types of light waves and radio waves, sound. Less than 1% of 1%. Our perception is like so limited. It is so finite. And yet we persist in thinking, that our idea of what is what, our idea of what is success, what is good, what is bad, what is truth, what is not truth. We persist in this, and it's actually very sad. So the Vedic instruction is coming in an indirect way. It's coming like in a gentle way, like it's okay. It's not coming and saying, hey, wake up. And sometimes it is. Uttishtata jagrata prapya bharani bodha. Please wake up, the Upanishads are telling us. Please wake up. Now is the time to search after spiritual life. But in general, they're coming like in a gentle way, In Srila Maharaj, in one place, he compares different sections of the Vedas like to the mood of different relatives, like a mother or an auntie. They may advise some relative in a particular mood, and like this, there are different styles and different moods of giving instruction, and so in the Vedas we find different approaches like that. But in the beginning, it's like they're telling us, like, it's okay, as you are, you're okay. Yes, you're the master of this world. You're a master. You're an independent entity. That's okay. But, just try to regulate that. At least, try to regulate that desire that you have for mastership in a way that minimizes disturbing other people. Like, I don't disturb you, you don't disturb me. This is like what the laws of this world are based on. And the Vedic instruction is also like that. But then there's some, then there's, gradual development, in the beginning, the conception of oneself as a member of this world. Then there's the conception of oneself as having an existence beyond this whole mundane sphere. And then for persons who are ready for some higher truth, then there is bhakti, then there is devotion. But that is only for those persons who are ready to embrace the truth, in the purest sense. And so it is something that is hidden. We cannot immediately appreciate the beauty of that highest truth. Rather, it is something that is frightening to us. That, I will be a servant, that I exist to sacrifice, that I exist to give, not to acquire, not to consume. this is something that is frightening to us, actually. And so the Vedic instruction is coming in installments. And so, we are, the culture of Sharanagati. This is the hidden treasure, right? The culture of surrender. This is the final conclusion of Gita. How can we attain that devotion, that bhakti, through Sharanagati, that we will give up the dependence that we have. And this is like a leap of faith, that we will give up the dependence that we have on our own powers of perception, our own powers of understanding, of comprehension, and we will rather try to not that we will give up the notion that we can actually approach that higher plane for some relationship, but rather we are trying to make ourselves persons that are attractive for that higher plane to descend towards us. And it must be so. It cannot be any other way. To have a relationship with a higher entity, it must be from up to down. It must be a descending process. Not that we can make ourselves known to that person, but that person can make themselves known to us. Just like if we often give the example, if there's some ant, there's some insect crawling on the ground, that insect does not have any comprehension of what we're doing, and but we can understand what this because this insect is in a lower position than us, and so in the same way we cannot with like our limited senses and powers of perception, we cannot reach to that higher entity. But we can try to follow the path which has been recommended, which may compel that higher entity to make itself known to us. So that is what the whole culture of Sharanagati, of surrender, is about. Our whole, real spiritual culture must be along these lines to attract that higher plane to descend. And of course, we're reminded of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's famous expression. He was at a conference once in Karachi, in what is now Pakistan, and there were different respectable speakers were there giving talks, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he spoke something about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, and then afterwards somebody challenged him, and he said, you're speaking as if you know something about the infinite, but you yourself are finite. So how can you say anything about the infinite? How can the finite say anything about the infinite? It is infinite, so how is this possible? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj immediately responded, yes, what you say is actually true. It is not possible for the finite to know anything about the infinite. That is not possible. However, at the same time, the infinite must have infinite means and infinite capacity. Therefore, he must have some means by which he can make himself known to the finite. The infinite has infinite capacity. He must have some means by which he can make himself known. So the all of like genuine spiritual culture, it's based on this premise. that I cannot approach that. I cannot approach him, but he can approach me. So what can I do to attract him? What can I do to attract that higher plane to descend? The whole transaction is from up to down. We are accustomed in this world to thinking of ourselves as subjective entities, right? We are the subject, we are the center, and everything exists as an object to us, right? We're seeing everything relative to our existence. And that's, that's just how we think, We calculate things as good or bad according on how they affect us. But here, when we come to spiritual culture, we have to make some shift of consciousness, and instead of perceiving ourselves as the main subjective entity, we have to conceive that there is a super subjective entity. We are subjects, but there is a super subject. There is a plane which is super subjective to myself. And just as I consider so many things objects to my subjective existence, I am like an object to that higher super subjective existence. And we are to be handled by that higher plane. And actually, it makes life an exciting adventure when we think like that. We enter the realm of infinite possibility, right? Anything's possible in such a world. Like, there's no room for pessimism, there's no room for depression, there's no room for anxiety here. But this great super subjective presence is always above my head, is always watching over me. There is rhyme, there is reason to everything. All cosmos, no chaos, as Srila Sridhar Maharaj said. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Param Srapa Shanti Soraya Diviva Chakshura Tatam, the principal mantra in the Rig Veda, that the wise souls, they're always seeing the Lord in like the sun in the sky, like an eye, like a sun in the sky, watching over everything, seeing everything that is taking place. So this is the subjective evolution of consciousness, which Srila Sridhar Maharaj discusses in one of our books. That our consciousness will evolve to this conception, that we exist as one part in a greater whole, and we have a part to play in a higher, a higher dynamic, service-centered, God-centered plane of existence. Well, it's kind of jumping around a lot. And Srila Rupa Goswami's verse is also very relevant to this discussion. Atashi Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grajamindriyai Sevan Mukhe Jivada Swayameva Sportyada. That, with our ordinary powers of perception, our senses, we cannot approach that higher plane. But Sevan Mukhe Jivada Swayame, but through the culture of some mood of dedication, service, giving, then that plane may be pleased to descend. and make itself known to us. So there is some frightening element. One must have some courage actually to begin to enter into this type of culture. One must have some courage to let go of previous, and not just like material attachments in a gross sense, but in terms of the way that we think. We're very attached to certain like patterns, mental patterns, and ways of perceiving things. The way that we analyze things, the way that we may judge persons or judge ourselves. We're like, this is a type of attachment that we have, that like the filters that we look at the world through. These are attachments that we have. So to be ready, some circumstance come to us and we have some particular response to that. That's based on an attachment to a particular conception or consciousness. So it takes some courage to be able to let go of that. Like every morning you wake up and you clean the whiteboard. Like Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, always try to seek a new acquaintance with the environment. Always try to seek a new acquaintance with the environment. And that means a positive, optimistic acquaintance. Positive, optimistic, God-centric. So it takes some courage to be able to let go of these different conceptions that we have and to see things in a fresh way, and to try to see everything every day in a new way. See that everything is living and dynamic, to see that the Lord and His agents, they're always trying to enter our lives in different ways, to be open to that. Take some courage, but if we can do it, it makes everything very exciting, actually, very, very fresh, if we can live like that. That, to live in that consciousness, that everything can change at every moment, God is there and God works. He can work wonders. He can work miracles, and everything can change in an instant with His presence, with His backing. And we simply have to try to be open to that. And ultimately we want to be instruments of His will. We want to be instruments of that positive flow. That flow is always going. Like whatever mental trip we're on, that current is moving, it's going. It's just a matter of whether we are attuned to that, whether we are connected with that or not. And we're trying to become more and more awake to that, and to enter that, and to become a conduit for that. That is our aspiration. Well, that's what comes to mind. Does anyone have any comment or question or anything? We have your Naya, right? Okay, and your Yashel. Okay, Naya and Yashel. Okay. And I always forget your name as well, I'm sorry. Navneti. Navniti. Okay. And your name? Pravani. Pravali. Okay. And also your name? Prashanti. Oh, very nice.
And he's
Manas. Okay. I don't think... Did I meet him before?
No, it's second time he's coming.
And he's your son also?
Yeah, my son.
Okay.
is there any subscription kind of stuff for entry into here? Is there any kind of subscriptions, or it's a?
We are like a family. We don't do so much paperwork or bureaucracy. Maya knows. Just come and be a part of our family.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry we can't offer anything more. just love and affection. Just love and affection and tell her, just come and be a part of our family, and that's all that's required.
And sorry to disturb. I mean,
No.
And last Wednesday we had a Bhagavad Gita, right?
Yes,
So
every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. Okay. How come I come to know about the events that are organized here in this?
We have a website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can give you the URL.
Oh.
Yeah, but every Wednesday we do Bhagavad Gita, and every Saturday we have a noontime program. We do classes every morning and every evening also.
Okay, because I don't know about that. Like Johan's mother, she came and she told like Bhagavad Gita will happen on Wednesday, so that's how she came with them. So if you know in advance, like I mean, like yeah,
I can add you to our newsletter as well.
Oh, that's great.
There's your subscription. We'll take your email address.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, we're happy to be here with our community. We need good friends, and we need good association, good company, as our Gurudev used to say. We need to have that support, of a shared ideal. Like one candle flickering in the wind, it can easily go out. But when we feel that we're surrounded by other candles, the ideal is also shining in their heart, then we're all glowing more brightly. So we're very, very happy to have all of your friendship and support here. We want that the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, of divine love, they will flood the world, they will drown everything else out. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. We want that wave of Kirtan, of Harinam, to flood over everything else. Okay. Well, we can maybe sing Hari Haraya Nama Krishna. Or we could, let's sing Maha Mantra. Pandita, you lead us for 10 minutes. Usually the arti is at 1:30, right? Yeah, okay, so we can sing Maha Mantra.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya. This is Panchita. So we'll have our routine and then we take some.